Tourism Minister Alan Chasney says it would be an unnecessary agitation. He is referring to the SLP rally planned for Sunday on the Castries Market steps. Prime Minister King says the action would disrupt cruise business on that day. The Ocean Village One, with a capacity of 2,000, is expected at Point Seraphine on Sunday. Chasney says furthermore, it is an activity that appears to be without rhyme or reason.
I'm not so sure, in light of what's going on in the world right now, that we should be allowing the protests to take place. I mean, the Labour Party, from the time we've come into power, have had every opportunity, and several times they've had protests and marches and everything else. I think the government has been incredibly lenient in terms of understanding what their issues are. I mean, as an individual, I'm a bit perplexed, because when I see how McCain handled his whole transition, I look at Owen Arthur over in Barbados in terms of how he handled the transition. One really is to start at the beginning. What is it that the Labour Party wants?
Chasney says the St. Lucia Labour Party has and continues to reject all attempts to participate in governing the country. He says the opposition is determined to hinder and not help the process of development, so much so that they have planned a rally to protest a government that works differently than they did.
Is it the fact that it's like the little spoiled kid who has the ball, and because everybody's not going to play by their rules? I mean, you have a prime minister, the former prime minister, that refused to appoint a deputy speaker in the House. Just even more recently, we talk about the OECS integration, and he was asked to participate, and he refused to participate. I mean, so I'm not understanding really what's going on here. So if we're not doing it by the Labour Party's rules, then it's not good.
The minister acknowledges the final decision about the rally does not rest with him. At the same time, he makes it clear that if it was, there would be no rally.
The Prime Minister is a very, very benevolent individual. I mean, and anybody who heard his speech last night, given the letter that the former Prime Minister had written to him, I thought he was very benevolent in terms of his words. And he seems to be a very fair individual. So ultimately it would be the decision between himself and the Minister of Security in making that final decision. But certainly if I had a say in the matter, I certainly would suggest that this is an inappropriate time to be doing this. And I'm not so sure I understand really what the rationale behind a protest is. So on one time they're talking about having a rally, and another time they're talking about having a protest. So I'm a bit confused.
Internal Security Minister Guy Mayers says the SLP has not asked for permission from the Castries City Council to assemble at the market steps on Sunday. He says further that they will not be allowed to be a disruption. Protesters would have to stick to the route outlined by the police department. That is, if the protest goes ahead like a passionate SLP says it will. Carmi Joseph, HTS News, Channel 4.